It was a crisp Wednesday morning in October 2024, the kind of day in Willow Creek, a tidy little suburb just outside Denver, Colorado, where everything feels like it's on autopilot until it suddenly isn't. My wife, Emily, pulled into the fast fuel station on Cedar Avenue, her ancient Toyota Corolla wheezing like it was begging for a nap. She'd been grinding through another 12-hour shift designing logos for clients who couldn't decide on a font to save their lives. The car wasn't much to look at: scratched paint, a dented fender, but it got her where she needed to go. In our neighborhood, though, some folks seemed to think your car was a window into your soul. Enter Vanessa Harper, our HOA president, who rolled up in a gleaming black Mercedes SUV, license plate screaming Queen Bee. Her vehicle was so polished you could see your reflection in it, and she stepped out in head-to-toe designer yoga gear that probably cost more than our mortgage payment. Her rhinestone-encrusted tank top glittered like a chandelier in the morning sun, and she moved with the swagger of someone who'd never heard the word no in her 50 years. Emily wasn't just there for gas. She'd popped into the station's mini-mart to grab supplies for her monthly volunteer gig at Tiny Hearts Orphanage diapers, formula, tiny mittens that cost a fortune, and a condolence card for her coworker grieving her pet hamster, Fluffy. Don't laugh, Sarah was wrecked over that little guy. Oh, and one slightly bruised apple, because Emily's blood sugar was tanking, and she needed a quick fix. She also snagged a lottery ticket, a little habit I always teased her about. You and your scratch-offs, I'd say. But that day, her shopping spree $150 in baby supplies and 3 charity donations in 24 hours set off every fraud alert her bank had. Her usual spending was coffee runs and art supplies, so when she swiped her card at the pump, it declined. Twice. She was on the phone with the bank, juggling formula and peeling that apple, when Vanessa's suburban spidey senses kicked in. Vanessa had been idling in her SUV, probably mentally cataloging HOA violations, when she spotted Emily struggling with the pump and talking on her phone. To Vanessa, this was a crime scene unfolding in real time. Never mind that Emily was just explaining to a bank rep why she was suddenly buying enough diapers to stock a nursery. Vanessa strode over, her sneakers squeaking with purpose. "Excuse me," she said, her voice dripping with that tone people use when they're about to make your day worse. "I've been watching you fumble with that card for 10 minutes. Emily, still on hold, looked up, baffled, and said, "I'm just talking to my bank." But Vanessa had already cast herself as the hero in her own detective novel, and no facts were going to derail her story. I pulled into the lot just then, grabbing coffee from the diner next door, and saw the showdown at Pump 5. Emily, exhausted, holding a half-peeled apple and a bottle of formula, was being interrogated by a woman whose outfit screamed, "I chair the HOA, and your lawn is 0.2 inches too long." Vanessa stood there, hands on hips, like she was facing down a master criminal. "Sweetheart," I called out, trying to lighten the mood. "Are we debating fruit crimes now?" Vanessa spun toward me, eyes blazing. "Sir, your wife is acting suspiciously." Multiple card attempts, nervous behaviors, clearly up to something. I glanced at Emily, who just shrugged, still on hold. "Ma'am," I said, keeping my cool, "she's buying diapers, not smuggling diamonds." That's when Vanessa went full vigilante. "I know fraud when I see it," she declared, whipping out her phone like it was a badge. "Multiple swipes, shady behavior. This is textbook credit card theft." She dialed 911, loudly announcing, "I'm reporting a crime in progress at Fast Fuel on Cedar Avenue. Pump 5. Stolen cards, I'm sure of it." And just like that, an apple and some baby supplies turned into a police matter. As we waited for the cops, Vanessa kept ranting about protecting the community, while Emily finally got her card cleared with the bank. But Vanessa wasn't backing down. She was committed to her narrative. Things got messy when Vanessa, in her dramatic flailing, knocked over a stack of energy drink cans. They rolled everywhere, and as she scrambled to pick them up, her designer purse spilled open, receipts fluttering out like guilty confetti. One caught my eye, $1,200 for a community gala. Odd for a neighborhood potluck, but I didn't have time to dwell on it. 2 police cruisers rolled in, lights flashing but no sirens, the kind of arrival that says, "We're here, but this better be good." Vanessa pointed at Emily like she'd caught Al Capone. "There's your thief, officers," she proclaimed. Officer Claire Dawson, a seasoned cop with a no-nonsense vibe, stepped out with her rookie partner, Officer Patel, who looked like he'd memorized the entire police handbook. Claire took Emily's receipt and ID, her face unreadable as she scanned the items. Then she read aloud, her voice steady but with a hint of amusement. $40 for gas, $150 for diapers and formula for Tiny Hearts Orphanage, 1 condolence card for a hamster, and 1 apple, 89 cents. She paused, her eyebrow twitching. You called 911 over an apple? Patel snorted, trying to cover it with a cough, but the dam broke. Claire's composure cracked, and she burst into laughter, leaning against the cruiser. Patel was doubled over, wheezing. Even the gas station owner, Tom, shouted from behind his bulletproof glass. That apple was going in the trash tomorrow. But the real twist came when Tom, who'd been running fast fuel for a decade, emerged with a folder thicker than a dictionary. Tom wasn't just a gas station guy, used to be a corporate auditor, and he documented everything like he was building a case for the FBI. Officers, he said calmly, Mrs. Harper's been a problem customer for years. Declined cards, arguments with the chip reader, threats to shut me down because it asked for her PIN. He handed Claire a stack of printouts, screenshots of Vanessa fighting the card reader, trying cards upside down, even demanding to speak to the machine's manager. Claire's laughter stopped as she flipped through the evidence, her cop instincts kicking in. Then her radio crackled. Dispatch had run Vanessa's name, and whatever they said made Claire's face harden. She whispered to Patel, who started scribbling notes. Emily's transaction was cleared, her bank confirmed the charity purchases were legit, but Claire wasn't looking at us anymore. She was watching Vanessa like she'd just spotted a puzzle piece that didn't fit. Mrs. Harper, Claire said, her tone now all business. We need to talk about some fraud complaints tied to your name. Vanessa's face cycled through shock, outrage, and something like fear before settling on defiance. This is absurd. I'm the victim here. Tom dropped the first bomb. I've had chargebacks from elderly residents claiming their cards were used without permission after giving Mrs. Harper their info for HOA fees. He handed over case numbers, his auditor's precision shining. Claire radioed them in, and the mood shifted from sitcom to crime drama. That's when Big Mike, a retired firefighter and neighborhood staple, showed up with his own folder. She's been collecting for a fake charity Hope's Wings Foundation, he said, voice low with anger. She raised $12,000 claiming it was for kids, using photos of children who died in a fire 3 years ago. The crowd gasped. Emily, who actually volunteered at Tiny Hearts, looked sick. They've never gotten a dime from our neighborhood, she said quietly. By now, Claire was on the phone with the state fraud unit. Vanessa's scam wasn't just local, she'd been running Hope's Wings in 2 other counties, targeting trusting retirees. At home, Emily and I dug deeper. No Hope's Wings was registered anywhere. Then Emily found her lottery ticket from that day's receipt, a $75,000 winner. This is our shot to fight back, I said. We plan to use the money to expose Vanessa and support Tiny Hearts. Vanessa called an emergency HOA meeting the next week at the Willow Creek Community Center, aiming to spin herself as the victim of a jealous conspiracy. She'd prepared a 50-slide PowerPoint, safeguarding our values, but her laptop died mid-presentation, leaving her floundering. Claire, now off duty but present, stepped up. Hope's Wings isn't registered, she said, holding up her notebook. And those kids in your flyers? Their families never authorized their use. Emily stood, clutching her Tiny Hearts thank you letters from real kids. This is what actual charity looks like, she said, voice trembling with conviction. Big Mike added financial records. $9,000 in HOA expenses for Vanessa's spa days and luxury dinners. The room turned on Vanessa. The HOA board voted 7-0 to suspend her, pending a full audit. As she stormed out, screaming about lawsuits, Claire was waiting with 2 federal agents. While Vanessa was ranting, the FBI had searched her house, uncovering records of a $250,000 fraud spanning 3 states. She'd targeted grieving families, using spreadsheets to track their vulnerabilities. But her biggest mistake? Trying to frame Emily by forging letters claiming she stole from Tiny Hearts. Tom's cameras caught her sneaking into Fast Fuel to plant the fakes, sealing her fate. 6 months later, I was back at Fast Fuel, now a local legend with an Applegate plaque. Vanessa, in an orange vest and ankle monitor, was scrubbing floors as part of her plea deal. 3 years probation, $250,000 restitution, and 600 hours at Tiny Hearts, learning what real charity meant. Emily became HOA president, transforming Willow Creek into a real community. Our lottery winnings funded Tiny Hearts for a year, and Tom's Station became a hub for donations. Vanessa's new neighborhood shunned her for her old tricks, and her empire of lies crumbled. Life's wild, isn't it? You stop for gas and an apple, and suddenly you're dismantling a fraud ring. Have you ever caught someone in a lie that unraveled their whole world? What's the shadiest thing you've seen in HOA poll? Drop your stories below, hit like if this made your jaw drop, and subscribe for more tales of karma in action. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's next.